So this is exactly why you should set a cutoff point for any single area in your life of which you are progressing in. All right, and this is so that you keep your progression, because it could be you're working in one specific area, okay, and it's actually the thing that will get you to where you want is to apply the knowledge that you've learned from working in that area, and then apply it to a different area, maybe a slightly different model, okay, but using the same knowledge. This does not mean completely switch up what you're doing all of the time. You need to be able to have that knowledge and that instinct and exactly when to set cutoff points and also what to try next. However, the deep underlying premise for this is to go with the flow and go with what feels easy. It doesn't necessarily mean avoid what is hard, okay? Because sometimes doing the thing that feels easy, there will be slightly hard aspects, but there's something that comes to you, the thing that naturally sort of excites you, okay? It doesn't mean have that shiny object syndrome of trying this, trying this, trying this. Like I said, you need to have the knowledge which is actually contextual to what you're doing so that you know when to set the cutoff point, all right? So that gets us on to the next step, which is when do we actually set these cutoff points, okay? It could be a certain day of a certain month in this time, all right? It could be, let's say you're working in something and you want it to be from 3 months from now. This is typically in a situation if you've been working absolutely, you've been having the nights which you're working the 10 hours, 12 hours, you're going to sleep super late, you're not looking after yourself, and you're just really, really feeling burnt out. And especially if you're going to sleep and you just really feel slightly neutral about the fact that you'll actually wake up tomorrow. And it's just something that you're considering and you're like, I mean, of course I do want to wake up, but if I don't, then it is what it is. And that's really quite a sign that you're probably in a position that you shouldn't be in. And I like to give myself a cut-off point of the periods like that, just so that you kind of have that breathing space and and it also gives you a bit of energy to, okay, I need to exhaust my energy into this and I need to put as much as I can because I'm going to be saying goodbye to it here. Otherwise, you're going to be treating what you're doing very similar to like a toxic relationship, and let's say it's a toxic woman and you're just toxic in general and you keep coming back to her and there's just something that happens each time and it's not the best for you, but it's something you've been working on for so long, you put so much in, you don't really want to turn back and you're a bit in too deep, etc. And it's very, very similar, but you need to be really firm when you say to yourself, look, I'm going to just try something else. And that something else, like I said, it doesn't have to be the full shiny object syndrome, hopping from thing to thing. And the next point to add is what determines whether you cut it off or not. Okay, that's the key thing. And that will be based on the key performance indicators of anything in which you're doing. It could be in business, maybe it's in doing a certain workout routine. All right, it could be. However, you also need to know, contextually, you need to apply this to your own situation. You need to be knowledgeable enough when to actually continue despite not reaching those KPIs. All right, because let's say you plan to by next year. I think a year is quite a broad thing for this. I'd say typically if you're making this decision, it has to sort of be, let's say, in like a 3-month sort of range. Let's say in 3 months time by this date, okay, if I do not generate this amount of income, let's say, or maybe I don't have this amount of clients, maybe I'm not obtained this weight to kind of body fat ratio, etc. If I've not obtained that, however, in like a business perspective, if you're literally just about to get to that point and then you have a follow-up call with a lead which is looking like a 10k deal, right, obviously attend that call, okay? That's just blatantly obvious, and of course you need to be a smart individual, and if you're watching this video for the 3 minutes and 52 seconds it's currently rolling for, you probably are that smart enough, okay? So you need to use that. Next, right, setting these cutoff points, don't be obsessive about it. Like, don't be completely obsessed about it. It's simply just an idea and a concept that will kind of give you a sense of freedom when it comes to exploring what you're doing at the moment. And like I've said, there's been so many areas in my life pretty much that I've been working at something tirelessly. I'm talking for like 2 years. 2 years working on a certain business model, working literally the 12-hour days and being absolutely broke as a joke. I am talking, and those of you that know me close, you probably know this story. I'm talking working on about 120 sort of pound in the UK, which is probably about 150 to 160 dollars, right? That was how much I was pretty much getting from my business each month, okay, despite running it for about 2 years. And that would simply be about 40 quid, okay, for my I think it would probably be about 25 to 30 quid on petrol because I drive to the gym, and there'd be £27 for my gym membership, and then it would be about 80 quid or so for my car insurance because it had multiple incidents, some of which my fault, some of which not. And then I'd probably have a little bit spare sometimes, which would just be like I get a drink before the gym, or just something like that, an absolute luxury to me, or just some change or something like that. And I was living to the point where I had holes in my boxers, right? I had holes in my socks, and it would get to the point where I'd put in a clothes wash. Okay, my mum would take out the washing, and I'd just all of a sudden have no boxers, right? I'd have no boxers. I'm looking, what the hell? And I go outside, go to the shed, right? Garage equivalent. And they're with all the stuff to like clean the cars. I'm like, what? Why are my boxers hit? Because they've got holes in. My mum's like, you can't wear them. You can't wear them at all. And I'm thinking, they're my only boxers, what the hell? So yeah, I mean, I hadn't set cut-off points before. I've been working absolutely tirelessly on certain projects, certain things, certain goals, and it's really, really taught me that any form of thing in which you pursue just to preserve your sanity and also to increase the likelihood in which you succeed the fastest is setting cut-off points. It could even be as simple as you're jumping into a new business model and you give it a month. And if you don't receive a certain KPI, let's say lead cost in that first month, right, then you just don't pursue it. And having stuff like that is just a really, really, really nice safety net of your time. And it's something that I believe that a lot of people watching this video will be able to resonate with working on something absolutely tirelessly, and especially of what I've said, if they're going to sleep feeling absolutely neutral. If I wake up tomorrow, awesome. If I don't, calm is what it is, and just really, really like stuck in the weeds. But you need to be going with the flow. You need to be able to explore ideas that excite you. And when you are not tying your whole life to one thing that is not serving you, then you'll be able to find those ideas and they'll flow to you so much more naturally. So have a nice life, enjoy, and that's been me.